Hi there, and welcome to today's math video. In this video, we're going to talk about the order of operations. When you look at this problem, what do you think you are supposed to do? 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3 multiplied by 4. Where do we even start? Should we start by multiplying 5 by 2, then adding 3, then multiplying by 4? Or should we start by adding 2 and 3, then multiplying by 5 and 4? Both of these methods give different answers, and that is confusing. What is the correct set of steps that will lead us to the correct answer? Before we answer that question, we need to talk about arithmetic expressions. An arithmetic expression is an expression that consists of numbers and operations connecting those numbers. Here are some examples. Notice that with our definition of arithmetic expression, we can see that our first example, 5 times 2 plus 3 times 4, is an arithmetic expression as well. So back to our original question. How do we simplify this expression? This is where the order of operations comes in. Mathematicians came up with a set of steps which we call the order of operations. So we know the exact sequence of steps we need to follow to simplify a problem like 5 times 2 plus 3 times 4. The other arithmetic expressions we've seen, and any other arithmetic expression you can come up with. The order of operations tells us how to simplify arithmetic expressions to a single number. Think of it as a step-by-step guide to a final answer. These steps are given by the acronym PEMDAS. What does each letter of this acronym stand for? The P tells us to start by simplifying any part of the expression that is inside parentheses. It can also mean any other grouping symbol, like brackets or braces. The E tells us to then evaluate any exponents you see. Remember, exponents are written as a small number up above another number, called the base number. The exponent tells us how many times the base number is multiplied by itself. The MD stands for multiplication and division. These two are done at one time. Read the expression from left to right and complete any multiplications or divisions as you go. The AS stands for addition and subtraction. Just like multiplication and division, these are done in one step. Read the expression from left to right and complete any additions or subtractions as you go. Let's go back to the arithmetic expression we started with. 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3 multiplied by 4. And let's use the order of operations to simplify. Our first step is to check for parentheses or any other grouping symbols. There are no parentheses in this expression, so we can move on. Our next step is to check for exponents. There are no exponents in this expression, so we can move on. We can now check for any multiplications or divisions. Let's multiply the 5 and 2 first. That gives us 10. Next, let's multiply the 3 and 4. That gives us 12. Now you're left to do the addition and subtraction. There is only one addition we need to complete. 10 plus 12. This gives 10 plus 12, which is 22. And we're done. Let's look at this one. 3 to the power of 8 divided by 4 minus 2 plus 6. Let's start the order of operations. While there are no parentheses in this problem, there is a pair of brackets. In those brackets, we can see the expression 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So, we can replace 8 divided by 4 with a 2. We don't have any other brackets, so we can move on to exponents. That 2 we just wrote down is now the exponent of 3. So let's think. What is 3 squared? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. So we can replace 3 squared with a 9. There are no multiplications or divisions in our expression now, so we can move on to the addition and subtraction. Completing addition and subtraction from left to right, it looks like first we just need to subtract 2 from 9, which gives us 7. Now all that's left is to add 7 and 6, which gives us 13. And by doing that, we're done. Let's try another one. Look at this problem here. 5 plus parentheses 6 divided by 3 end parentheses squared times 4. Take a moment and think about where we should start. What does PEMDAS have to say about this problem? Remember, we want to simplify whatever expressions are inside parentheses. We can see 6 divided by 3 within a set of parentheses. So let's work on that first. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we should replace 6 divided by 3 with a 2. We don't have any parentheses anymore, so we can move on to exponents. That 2 we just wrote down is being squared. So let's think. What is 2 squared? Well, 2 times 2 is 4. So we can replace 2 squared with a 4. Now we're left with 5 plus 4 times 4. It's time to do any multiplication or division that we can see. Look, there's a multiplication sign between those 4s. 4 times 4 is 16. So let's write that down. There are no more multiplications or divisions in our expression, so we can move on to addition and subtraction. It looks like we just need to add up 5 and 16, which gives us 21. And by doing that, we're done. This next example might be a little more challenging, but we can do it. Before we get started, let's take a moment to remember that the fraction bar is a symbol for division. We can read this part of our arithmetic expression as 32 divided by 8 squared divided by 9 minus 7. Altogether, this expression is read as 32 divided by 8 squared divided by 9 minus 7 plus 3 times 2 to the third power, which can also be read as 2 cubed. Now let's perform the order of operations. For challenging problems, it's even more important to stay organized with your steps so that you don't get lost. There are 2 expressions set inside parentheses in this problem: 32 divided by 8 and 9 minus 7. 32 divided by 8 is 4, and 9 minus 7 is 2. So let's make the proper replacements. Now let's work on exponents. We can replace the 4 squared with 16, since 4 times 4 is 16. And look at that 2 cubed. So, we need to remember that 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. And if we multiply by 2 again, we get 8. So 2 cubed equals 8. Let's do the multiplication and divisions. Reading the expression from left to right, the first thing we can simplify is the 16 divided by 2. That's 8. And then we can multiply the 3 and the 8, which is 24. Let's finish off with some addition and subtraction. We only need to add 8 and 24, which is 32. And that's it. Here's a different problem. 5 squared plus parentheses 7 minus 1 end parentheses divided by 3 times 2. Go ahead and pause the video and try to solve it for yourself. Meet Chris. He gave this problem a shot as well. Let's go ahead and pause to look at his work for the problem here. Do you agree or disagree with his work? Let's check Chris's work to see if he got the right answer by doing the problem ourselves and comparing our steps. Let's start by simplifying any expression inside parentheses first. We can see 7 minus 1 in parentheses, so let's simplify that first. We get 6, so let's write that down. Moving on to the exponent step, we can see we have 5 squared. That's 5 times 5, which is 25, so we can write that down. Now let's do any multiplications or divisions. Reading the expression from left to right, the first multiplication or division symbol that we see is that division symbol between 6 and 3. So let's do that first. We have that 6 divided by 3 is 2. And now we have the expression 25 plus 2 times 2. We have another multiplication we need to do. 2 times 2. And when we do that, we get 25 plus 4. Moving on to the addition and subtraction step, we only have an addition. Let's add 25 and 4, which is 29. And we're done. Now let's look at our work and Chris's work side by side. Where's the problem? There's the problem. Chris did the multiplication first. Even though M comes before D in the PEMDAS acronym, we want to think of multiplication and division as grouped together in a single step. Remember, we want to read the expression from left to right and complete any multiplications or divisions as you go. That means that if the first symbol you see is multiplication, then multiply first. If the first symbol you see is division, then divide first. This is a frequent mistake made by students, so watch out for this. Remember that this same rule applies for addition and subtraction too. Even though A comes before S in the acronym, you won't necessarily complete addition first. You want to think of them as grouped in the same step and simplify whichever operation comes first when reading the expression from left to right. Remember, if you are ever trying to simplify an arithmetic expression, make sure to follow the order of operations. Think PEMDAS. The P stands for parentheses and any other grouping symbols. The E stands for exponents. The M and D stand for multiplication and division. And finally, the A and S stand for addition and subtraction. Following these steps, you're ready to simplify any arithmetic expression you want. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.